Greetings, church. It's been a great week, and we're back to Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We're still studying the attributes of God, and this week's attribute is God is self-existent. The uncreated one created all things. John 1 through 4. The New International Version. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. And in Psalms 91 and 2 we read, Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. God always was. It's hard for us to understand how that can be. For we were created also, but try as we do, we cannot honestly believe that we can create something from nothing. God created man from the dirt or the dust. In Genesis 3:19, we read, by the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you will return. You know, God also created the dirt or the dust. All of man's created items exist only as being taken from something that was already there. I'll give you an example. In making a cake, cake can't exist without all the ingredients. That's sugar, flour, water, etc., etc. So, try as we must to create something from nothing, we have to grab something to make something. But God is different. He's a whole lot different from us. We are needy, and God is self-sufficient. Not only that, God supplies all of our needs or our lack. He even supplies that. So try as we do to live all self-sufficient lives, we'll always hit a brick wall or we come short of the goals we set. We cannot be in control of life's outcomes and surprises. We grasp for our own definitions of success, thinking that we can achieve it on our own, but only good things come from God. God, knowing our limits, allows all things to flow, and we only achieve what God allows. We try to look for the created things to fill our aching voids instead of looking to the Lord, the creator of all things. Only the Lord has the power to satisfy us, and only He can fill the God-shaped vacuum within each human being. So, how does He do that? With His gift of grace. God's grace at Christ's expense. He created things to have no power to satisfy us. See, none of the created things satisfy us. In Romans 1:26-32, Paul speaks of about idolatry happens when we worship created things instead of the Creator. So why do we crave the gifts instead of the Lord, our giver? Well, our sinful lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. In 1 John 2:16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but it is of the world. That's all started in Genesis chapter 3, when we read about Eve and Adam. God knew our nature from Adam and provided us a second Adam, Jesus. The Apostle Paul explains this in 1 Corinthians 15:45 through 49. The physical body and the spiritual body. Christ allows us to be born again in the spirit man. Let me read 1 Corinthians 15:45 through 49. So it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam, a life-giving spirit. The spiritual did not come first, but the natural, and after that the spiritual. The first man was of the dust of the earth, the second man is of heaven. As was the earthly man, so are those who are of the earth. And as this heavenly man, so are also those who are of heaven. And just as we have been born the image of earthly man, so shall we bear the image of the heavenly man, should we choose. God, Creator, making us again spiritually alive in Christ. So once a walking dead person, but now alive in Christ. Only God can do that, and will, if we let Him, and ask Him into our lives. God bless you, church.